So just 4 days after clinching the coveted Formula One world title in Abu Dhabi, I got the chance to join Nico Rosberg at the off-road track at Mercedes-Benz World to get to know him a little bit better. But little did I know at that stage, or anyone else for that matter, that just 24 hours later he'd announced his shock retirement from the sport. Well, Nico, first of all, man, I mean, just massive congratulations. What an incredible way to finish the longest season we've had in Formula One. Yeah, has it sunk in at all?
No, just when you say it now like that, it's still like, seriously?
I mean, it's just an amazing finish. How bad was the hangover on Monday morning?
It was pretty bad. It was pretty painful because we only went to bed at 9 a.m. So
and then you were straight on a plane, right?
Then Monday I did have a bit of time off, and then it was Monday night on the plane.
Yeah.
Slept on the plane. Tuesday celebrations in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
Again on the plane. Then Wednesday celebrations in my birth town in Germany.
Yeah.
So
okay. That must have been nice.
For Germany, and then 2 hours home, and then here.
So that's pretty frantic. Oh, you did get home. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah,
so you saw
2 hours at home.
You saw your daughter,
yeah,
I guess, for the first time. How was that?
No, she was in Abu Dhabi with me.
Oh, she was there.
Yeah, they were all there.
Oh, that must have been pretty spectacular. What was the most kind of nerve-wracking moment of the whole of Sunday for you?
There was two. That was well, of course, no. There was two. It was having Verstappen in front of me.
Yeah.
And hearing the message from Tony, critical to pass for the championship.
I can imagine, yeah.
Jesus.
Because I think we all felt for you at that point. That's pretty crazy. Max, as you called him after the race.
Yeah, so that was a really, really tough moment because I could see the guys behind.
Yeah.
And I could see the stop window coming soon.
Yeah.
Where they could stop and jump me.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So,
but you dispatched him pretty clinically. I mean, it was actually
it was a great battle, and but one of the most intense moments in my whole F1 career. That moment and that battle with him.
Yeah.
Because I know he's going to take risks, and I know he's going to try everything.
It was
close. So damn close.
Yeah.
So damn close.
Do you know the two most nerve-wracking moments on your behalf for me were, one was the final pit stop, because having been involved in those myself for many years, I felt for your guys. They'd serviced Lewis's car already, it had gone very well, and at that moment for those guys, that is a nerve-wracking period of time, and I guess for you as well.
That's funny you say that. That's something that I don't see. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
But now that you say it,
it's honestly, man.
Of course, it must be just as crazy as other things.
It is,
but I'm so in my thing that that's something that, for example, I didn't realize, and I hadn't ever thought of.
Well, next time you'll have that in mind, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and now I should actually go to that. All the
Give
people
him a pat
who
on the back,
who did do the pit stop and say thanks so much for getting the job done so well, because I think it was the fastest pit stop as well.
Yeah, and it's
in that heat of the moment.
The thing is, I always say to people about the pit stops is actually it's a really easy job. All you got to do is pick up a wheel and lift it on, or take one off. Yeah, but in that moment, it's the hardest job in the world.
Well, there you go. Same driving the race car.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's the easiest job for us to do a decent lap.
Yeah.
But in that moment, to do a decent lap.
And the other moment where I thought was possibly the most nerve-wracking, oh my goodness, was the moment you picked up Bernie Ecclestone in the cool-down room. How did you feel when you suddenly realised you were holding Bernie Ecclestone up in the air?
I don't know. I was just a bit excited.
What did he say to you? I
wanted to share that with Bernie. Share the excitement.
When you put him down, what did he say to you?
I think that's never happened to him before. He didn't really know what to do. So it was quite funny, yeah.
Well, I watched the race with my 6-year-old son. I wasn't in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and I've got to be honest, he's a fairly fickle character. He was a Lewis Hamilton fan for most of the season.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's steep. But come the end of the race on Sunday, he declared he's now a Nico Rosberg fan.
Serious?
So you've gained a fan.
Amazing. That's so cool.
And he asked me a genuine question, and I said to him, look, why don't you just record it? And I'm seeing Nico on Thursday. I'll play it to him. So through the magic of Bluetooth, here we go.
Hi, I'm Rex. I watched you racing on Sunday. I just want to ask you a question. Does Lewis Hamilton ever come round to your house to play?
To play?
To play. Genuinely what he said to me after the race on Sunday.
I think I wouldn't let him in the door at the moment if he wanted to come over to play.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. After what happened Sunday.
Yeah.
No. So does he come over to play? No, but he has come over for burgers, for example, because because I'm lucky to have such a subjectively lovely wife who cooks so well. So and Lewis lives in the same building as I do. So we've so even not too long ago, he's been over for burgers, and
that's cool. That's nice.
Not recently, not ever since it got so intense. But I didn't catch your son's name.
Rex. Yeah.
And Rex, thank you very, very much then for the support during Sunday's race, and I'm so cool that you're supporting me for the future.
Well, I can't guarantee that if Lewis wins next time he won't be a Lewis supporter, but so there's some people back in your factory in Brackley at the Mercedes team that have sent me some questions to put directly to you. First one from a guy called Bobby Vandroff, who's the head of facilities in the factory. This is what he has to say.
So when you have a really stressful moment and you're having to focus, what do you think about? What brings you back to a place where you can be successful?
So when you have a really stressful moment over a race weekend, what do you focus on to get yourself back to some sort of normality?
Oh, well, that's a whole mind game thing, isn't it? So first of all, it's awareness of your thoughts or things like that. That's important. But mind management, of course, during a race weekend is really important. And so what I've tried to focus on is not the actual end result and goal, but it's like the path. It's just the effort that I'm doing in the moment, getting the best out of it, rather than being focused on the end result.
Do you think that's something you've done better this year than you've done in the past?
It's just experience helps. You get better at that every time, because you always get thrown back into your desire to be world champion, and to have that celebration and everything, and then you take your eye off the ball when you think too much about.
I think that's what everybody thinks. I spend a lot of time in the paddock. I think a lot of people in Formula One will absolutely credit you with that this year. It's one of the things you've 100% done best, and come to every race with that same focus, race by race, that mantra you've been talking about. But it's genuinely worked for you, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was. It's one of the keys to the success this year. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I've got another one from a guy.
And that goes all the way to, for example, in the last race, asking all my friends not to come.
Yeah.
Because I just want to keep it, as every other race.
Yeah.
Because I had initially invited them all, and then 3 weeks before, when I realized, oh damn, this is actually going to go to the wire.
Yeah.
I asked them all not to come again.
And they were all right. They understood.
And none of them listened to me, so they were all there, but secretly. So
they surprised you.
So it was just amazing. They were all there after the race, and big surprise, big party.
What was the first thing your dad said to you when you saw him? Because I know you talked about these one-word text messages he keeps sending you.
Yeah, pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
But my dad was funny because he was still so in his two last laps with his mind. So the first thing he wanted to do was just rediscuss that again. It must have been the craziest thing in front of a TV to watch that as a father. Oh my God. I would not want to be in that position either. No.
Well, now that you're a father yourself, you can put that into a bit more perspective, can't you? Right, I got another one from somebody else in your factory. This is Mark Neal, who works in the wind tunnel.
Hi Nico, I was just wondering how it feels to be a father and a world champion at the same time, and how proud your daughter's going to be in years to come.
I haven't thought so much of this for my daughter in the future. I'm more proud, with my wife.
Yeah.
That she now, what we've achieved together, and to share it with her.
It definitely felt like this was a joint effort, and she plays a big part.
Well, it was the whole season. We had discussed, and she understood that when I come home, are we gonna make it? We are gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're actually gonna make it. Amazing. We discussed, and she was completely understanding that at all times when I'm home this year, it needs to be 100% relaxation.
Yeah.
And having a child and taking care of a child is not relaxation.
No.
And so she was really understanding, and she really sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
In a way that, for example, I never did any nights during the whole year.
Yeah.
Which now is going to change.
Payback.
And even then, during the day, when it was about taking care of her,
yeah.
She understood that after a certain point, it just becomes really hard work.
Yeah.
And when that point came, then she was okay for me to give her back to her and all that, and that really is amazing, and it really worked, because then home for me really was relaxation, and I need that, because racing is 210% intensity, all these race weekends.
Absolutely.
And there was 21 of them.
Yeah.
It's like, and so it really worked well that whenever I was home I could really recover, relax, and go back to zero. And
I think it really showed through on Sunday evening for all of us that how much well, how much of, you're in love with your wife, obviously, but how much of a part she played, because you definitely celebrated with her. You wanted her in all the photographs. You could see that she wasn't leaving your side, and that was a really, really nice moment, I thought. You're going to look back on those photos, aren't you, in years to come? Of course you will. It's the day you won the world title, and she'll be in all of them, which is nice.
The most emotional side for me was this thing with my dad. That's one of the most emotional things for me to see. The beginnings, and how my dad has helped me, and how we've both achieved the same thing. How damn cool is that?
Well, we played that to you on Sky
so
Sports,
cool.
didn't we, earlier, a few races ago? The video of you saying, maybe one day I'd like to be able to challenge to be world champion, when you were, I think you were 8 years old or something.
Yeah, 8 years old.
And I could see at the time that brought some real emotion back for you. And of course now you've done it.
Yeah.
Right, one more from the factory. This is Mike Elliott. In fact, I used to work with Mike Elliott at McLaren, but he now works for you, and he's head of the aero department.
Nico, you've been with the team for 7 years. Are there any defining moments during that period that you think have contributed to making you world champion?
Do you know what? That wasn't Mike Elliott.
That's why it sounded a bit strange, that voice.
Yeah. I know Mike Elliott. That's not Mike Elliott. He's next.
Well, it's beating Schumacher, for sure, because I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't beaten him.
And was that your toughest test, do you think?
No.
In Formula One?
No, Lewis.
No, but up until you had Lewis as a competitor, or was it a teammate?
Yeah. Because not only
jeez.
Because with him it went well beyond just the driving.
Yeah.
For example, I arrive. For other people, he's like bigger than God. Like for the journalists, I'm invisible. Initially.
Yeah.
The whole attention is just on him, and even for the team members, if we were doing strategy meetings.
Yeah.
I would never be looked at, even though it's for both of us.
Yeah.
It would just be Michael,
But does that help or hinder you over
No,
the
it's hard. That's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's hard initially. But again, I've learned through that, because I had to fight my way into getting the respect in the team, and it really worked, and I'm very thankful for the team that they. Then another defining moment for sure was like Austin last year, because it was really not a nice. It was a quite horrible way to lose the championship against Lewis.
Yeah.
And the way it happened, because I made a mistake. I was leading, made a mistake. He got by. Then we had that stupid cap moment afterwards and all that.
Cap gate, as it's been called.
Jesus. Both losses to Lewis were really tough. Losing in sports like that is, especially when it's like close and you're fighting for so long and everything, it's seriously tough.
And how do you have a method to get over that? Do you have some, is there a process you go through? It's just literally
fight. It's think about it, and fight and try and get better and do better.
Yeah.
And so I spent like 2 days on my own after Austin, like in the hotel, and was just thinking about what the hell was going on, and I just decided, for sure I don't ever want to experience that again. I'm going to do everything within my damn possibilities to make sure something like that never happens again.
Yeah. Right, very quickly before we finish, I've got 2 questions from fans on Twitter who sent me some audio to play to you. So if you can answer them. This one's from Sarah.
Hi Nico, congratulations on winning the World Championship. I'm absolutely delighted for you. Sarah from Dundalk in Ireland here. Do you think having a family changed you as a driver?
That's a nice question. Definitely, because as I said, that home has just been fun for me and enjoyable. Yeah, and having a daughter is just special, and I'm subjectively the luckiest man in the person, because subjectively I have the most wonderful wife in the whole wide universe.
Yeah.
In the whole universe, and the best daughter in the whole universe. And that's why and that helps, because I know that this year I've been arriving at the racetrack just with a smile, because it's just been so nice every time and then I come back and I'm there with a smile, arriving at the racetrack.
Happy driver is a fast driver,
and that has to be the case. At least a little bit. In F1, to beat Lewis Hamilton, every detail counts.
And does that mean a bit more to you, that it's Lewis that you had to come up against?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lewis is. To me, it feels like I've been racing him all my life, and it feels like, and he's taken so many championships away from me, even when we were 14 years old. Just I was second close. We're fighting, and then he wins it. And to get one back on him now and steal it away from him,
a little bit sweeter,
is for sure that little bit extra sweeter. But also because he's the benchmark. He's one of the best of all time. Also, well, in terms of his statistics and everything, of course, and world championship wins and everything.
Does it make you, when you look back on some of the photos and videos I've seen of you two as kids and coming through your karting, you were like real proper good mates. Does
Really
it
good
make
friends.
you
Yeah.
sad
We went on holiday together and everything.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, does it sadden you that that's broken down a little bit, or do you think it's inevitable when two drivers are in the same team fighting for a world championship?
No, it doesn't sadden me. It's completely understandable and normal because it's so intense and such a difficult environment. It's not possible to be friends in that situation unless one accepts to be second to the other.
Yeah, of course.
Then you can be friends. But until one of the two has accepted that, you can't be friends.
And do you think once you're over all this, once Formula One is kind of gone for you, you two will kind of fall back into being buddies again?
There's no reason why it can't one day.
You've got a lot of history.
Yeah, there's no reason. And anyways, even through all this, the respect has never gone. You know?
Yeah.
And even after Sunday, you know, I can understand, you know, why he did what he did, you know.
Did you expect it? Had you kind of talked about it before the race?
I didn't expect it because I didn't expect it. No.
No.
But I think that was a bit naive.
Well, listen, I'm so pleased to say that you came through it. You did an incredible job, and I think, having come from the Formula One paddock, I know that you're a popular winner. I mean, one final question, if I can, from me, is that you must have had plaudits and stuff coming, people congratulating you all over the world.
Crazy.
How do you sum up the achievement in your own words, what you achieved in 2016?
So it's my childhood dream. Every racing lap that I've done has been for this.
Yeah.
You know, so for sure, it's an awesome achievement for me. And but to sum it up, it was very, very tough. Very, very tough.
Yeah.
I gave it everything this year. Everything I had. Like, I didn't leave a stone unturned. Yeah.
Well, listen, man. Congratulations. Thank you so much for today. That's been amazing. And we all look forward to seeing you back in 2017, perhaps even stronger.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Looking back on that now with a little bit of hindsight, I guess there's a couple of clues, aren't there, into his decision-making process in announcing that retirement, the sacrifice that he made, how much that took out of him to win this world title. I, for one, have got total respect for him making a decision at the very top of his game, and I wish him the very best in the future.